everybody. It's Monday, September 4th, 2017, and you are listening to my very first podcast. I like to call it the 3 Thumbs Up podcast because I have 3 thumbs. Get over it. My podcast topics range from hockey to me having mental breakdowns about hockey, especially Marc Bergevin. It's a little late, but I would love to congratulate the Pittsburgh Penguins on being the best in the world, considering they have the best in the world, Sidney Crosby, at their helm, leading their way to their second Stanley Cup in 2 years. That team, oh my, Pittsburgh Penguin fans, hockey fans, cherish this team. We haven't seen a team like this. I mean, we've seen teams like Detroit, Pittsburgh, Chicago in the past 20 years do this. They're almost modern-day dynasties. Pittsburgh winning 2 years in a row, that hasn't happened since Detroit, back when they had Yzerman, Lidstrom. Players like that are in a league of their own. Sidney Crosby, Matt Murray, Evgeny Malkin, Marc-Andre Fleury, and this guy named Jake Gensel, Phil Kessel, Chris Letang, who wasn't even in the playoffs. Pittsburgh, they don't even have good defense. They won't do anything in this playoffs. My bet going into the playoffs last year, Pittsburgh all the way. Mike Sullivan has done an amazing job with this Pittsburgh team. For a while, after they won their first Stanley Cup, they went in the playoffs and they were kicked out first, second round. They didn't know how to put it all together. And once he came along, they've been the best team in the league. I have to give it to Washington, but they don't have that next level. Regular season, they know how to get it done. Day in, day out. Pittsburgh is the best team I have seen play in a long time. I mean, me being a Montreal Canadiens fan, just seeing players like Sidney Crosby, I'm like, how is that even fair? How that franchise was blessed with these godlike players. And Pittsburgh, this is not the first time this has happened to you. Remember early 90s? Does that ring a bell? Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr. You had absolutely everything, and you put it all together again like you did in the 90s. Cherish this team, because they had a window and they struck the bullseye. They did it right. And they won another Stanley Cup. Now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I think they have a great chance of doing it again next year. The East Metropolitan is still an amazing, the best division in the NHL right now. It was the closest and most monstrous division in the NHL last year, but I think Pittsburgh can do it all again. Hopefully that jinx works. They don't deserve another one. I mean, they're showered in gold every year, it seems. Sidney Crosby. I mean, what's there more to say? And he won the Conn Smythe. Whoop-de-doo. I mean, I wouldn't get angry. Oh, last year, Matt Murray deserved it. Phil Kessel deserved it. Okay. They deserved it. But when you look out onto the ice, how can you say Sidney Crosby doesn't deserve it? He is an Olympic gold medal winner. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He's a Maurice the Rocket Richard trophy winner. He wins MVP season after season. He wins the Art Raw season after season. And when he is on the ice, he transforms the game. That's why he deserves it. You can make a case, and definitely, I listened to them, Phil Kessel last year, and Matt Murray, or Jake Gensel this year. And you went up against a very hot Nashville Predators team, but Sidney Crosby stole the Stanley Cup Finals round. Talking about Pittsburgh Penguins legends, how about somebody sign Jaromir Jagr already? It's been since July 1st. He left the Florida Panthers franchise, and nobody has signed him. I mean, I don't think I don't even know if he's even got a call yet. He got a call from the ECHL team. I heard that. Come play for us. Why would Jagr want to do that? He wants to stay in the NHL. He has been arguably better than he has been. I mean, he was amazing this year for a 45-year-old, 46-year-old. He had 46 points in 82 games. The year before, he had 66 points in 79 games. And then the years before that, New Jersey, Boston, Dallas. He didn't excel there, but he ages like a fine wine. He has been so incredibly just outstanding for his age alone. Just look at his glutes, man. Just look at his glutes. Every time I hear him score a goal, oh, he's got a big bum. There's no way they can get around Jaromir Jagr. That's all they talk about. I don't know. It's a thing. He has a great bum. Let's just cut it at that. But why don't you give him a 1-year contract? That's all he takes nowadays. It's not like he's going to sign long-term for 5 years. I'm sure he would, because Jaromir Jagr, but he is a journeyman. He's been with plenty of teams. Pittsburgh, Washington, New York, Philadelphia, Dallas, Boston, New Jersey, Florida. Staying in the American markets is what he does, and I think he's going to stay there. There's plenty of teams, Las Vegas, Arizona, that have cap and who need a person like him to elevate their status. Because if you have a guy like Jaromir Jagr on your team, he just brings in the media. Every time he scores a goal, it's like, how does he continue to do this? It seems like he knocked down 100 milestones last year. He's the second best scorer in NHL history. So many points he's had. He's been playing in the NHL since 1990-91 season. He had 57 points his first season, and he had 46 this past season, and many points along the way. He had his KHL stint, and how do you not pick up a journeyman like this? It's not like he's going to be negative value on your team. He's going to bring something to that locker room. He has skill upon skill. You can show those young guys. And he didn't want to stay in Florida. Maybe he got bored. It's not like he doesn't want to win. But he also wants to get paid. He deserves it. He's Jaromir Jagr, for the love of God. the Jagr tag alone is worth $. Why doesn't he go back to Pittsburgh? People says Pittsburgh doesn't have any money, like, at all. Just, I really do hope somebody signs Jagr. I don't want him to go down in retirement like Shane Doan. Like, he had an amazing career. Shane Doan, NHL veteran, 20-something seasons. I forget the number exactly. Just under 1,000 points, but he was with one franchise his entire career. And he is responsible for guys like Austin Matthews, who grew up in Arizona. And bringing on a guy like Jaromir Jagr to, like, the Las Vegas... No, not the Las Vegas Golden Knights, sorry. The Vegas Golden Knights can inspire people. Having the Jagr tag on your team, a bona fide generational talent like him, even though he's old, like beyond the point of veteran, he's a journeyman, and journeymen can inspire. I just really hope somebody picks up Jagr. He's still incredible. If I was Bergevin, I would be calling him every day, spamming him, please come to... Please, 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 please come play for us. You know, he is one of my favorite players today. Just watching him is absolutely amazing for his age. I mean, age is like nothing to him. It's not like he's not working out. It's not like he's going to drag your team down. He's slowed down a bit. He used to be one of the fastest in the league. But he's also 46, 45. How old is he? He's, like, old. He's 45. He's 45. Never aged. He's the ageless wonder. 45 years young. He can elevate the game in small markets. I really hope... Training camp is coming up. I want someone to pick up Jagr. I really want someone to pick him up. I really don't care who it is at this point. I want to watch him continue his career in the NHL. I don't want to see him go off to the KHL or the ECHL, which I see highly unlikely. You want a guy like Jagr in the NHL. I don't see him being a negative locker room guy. It's Jaromir Jagr. I would think he's an easygoing person. Is it the communication barrier? I think he speaks English. He has been in North America since 91. I think he would know a bit of English. I don't think it's a barrier there. GMs. Jagr is still available. It's not like he's some forbidden fruit that you cannot touch. Pick him up. Give the man his money. He deserves it. He is not going to weigh you down because of his age, because he has proved the past 3 seasons that he is still going hard. He's an amazing player. I cannot give him enough praise. 2 Stanley Cups to his name. I would love to see him win one more, but I don't think he's after that, you know. I mean, he wants to win, but he also wants to put some players in their place. Score 50 points, deke around some guys, showing that old guys can still hang. Age is nothing to some players. Joe Thornton, for example, he's getting up there. He's Jumbo Joe. He's a playmaker. He's a playmaker of a generation. He can still bring it. Guys like Henrik Lundqvist, he defines the New York Rangers. If he has a good season, New York does great. If he has a bad season, New York crumbles. In the event of no Cam Talbot, because he was amazing for them when they won the President's Trophy the year he went down. Old players are not negative value always. There are some very bad old players, but very bad in the sense as they're slower, they can't keep up all the time. But there are players out there in their 20s, young adults who are just becoming men, who can learn from guys like them. Guys like Joe Thornton, Henrik Lundqvist, Jaromir Jagr, Shane Doan, Jarome Iginla have defined an era in the NHL. They have built and inspired these players in the NHL today. I haven't even named off a handful of the list of old-timers who still bring it today. Because there are plenty of older players who can still bring it to the young guys. Sign Jaromir Jagr for the love of God. He is so good. I might be rambling on and on about him, but he is magical. The ageless wonder. Sign Jaromir Jagr. Please. Anybody. I do not care at this point. I don't care if he's in the Atlantic Division. I don't care if he's in the Pacific Division. Someone sign Jagr. People like Tanner Glass are getting PTOs before Jagr gets an actual contract that he deserves. Don't even get me started. Tanner Glass is the franchise player MVP against the Montreal Canadiens in the first round. Oh, God. Don't even get me started about that. I've already ranted enough on my YouTube about that. Guys like Jagr are still needed today. It doesn't matter if there's guys like Sidney Crosby, Jonathan Toews, Max Pacioretty, Carey Price, Pasternak. Did I say Sidney Crosby? PK Subban. Drew Doughty. They are today and the future. But guys like Jagr, guys that are legendary, guys that are bona fide Hall of Famers, are still needed to inspire and show them what they're made of. Because they are still needed today in the NHL. Speaking of saying goodbye, I would like to say goodbye and good riddance to some players. Good riddance to Michel Therrien. I did not get to talk about that. Valentine's Day 2017, we got rid of a huge mistake, a humongous big blemish on the Montreal Canadiens. He has ruined players. Players like Alex Galchenyuk, who should be exceeding, who should be points per game players. Guys like Michael McCarron, who should be regulars in the lineup. Guys like Nathan Beaulieu, who we traded. You need, even though they didn't go out there and grab the brass ring, because Michel Therrien did not give them the opportunity to do that. Not having faith in guys like that in your future is cancer. Cancer in the locker room. I thought we should have gotten rid of Michel in 2016 when we were having that season. You remember that season? I remember it. I remember laying on my carpet in my living room watching the Columbus Blue Jackets coming back against the Canadiens and yelling, Therrien, over and over again. Why does this have to happen? And that season is long and gone, but he was one of the reasons. And I am so glad, good riddance, that he is gone. Speaking of good riddance, Dwight King, now KHL player, we picked him up at the trade deadline. We gave up a late round pick for him. He brought Stanley Cup presents. You can't see my air quotations. He has King in the name. He won a Stanley Cup with the LA Kings. The Monsters. Fourth liner. Dwight King was going to bring his characteristics, his Stanley Cup defining characteristics to this team. That never happened. He didn't even score a point with us in the regular season with the Montreal Canadiens. And in the playoffs, yeah, he definitely brought his Stanley Cup prowess. Oh, baby. Oh, my. Bob Cole. Oh, baby. Good riddance, Dwight King. And one crazy Russian that I yell about every game I ever watched of him. Even the game where we beat Colorado 10-1. When he had a cheap shot on a Colorado Avalanche, which is still debatable to this day. Alexei Emelin, who was acquired in the expansion draft by the Vegas Golden Knights, said goodbye to his Montreal Canadiens. Oh, I'm gonna miss him so much. I can feel the sarcasm spilling from me. Alexei Emelin, the glass head guy, the guy who never fought when he laid a big hit. Fight, you crazy Russian, do it. I don't even want to yell about him right now, because I'm happy today. I'm happy, you know? And one thing I am not very happy about. Montreal let go of 16-year veteran with their team, drafted in 1998. 98. I wasn't alive. I was not breathing when he was drafted. He played his first season with the Montreal Canadiens in 2000-2001. Played 63 games. He is Montreal. I would put him in legend status, even though he has never had a cup. He is one of the best defensemen in Montreal Canadiens history, and especially in the past decade, 20 years. We haven't had that kind of franchise defenseman in this new era of the NHL. He was a point monster, considering he's a defenseman. He knew how to work the power play. I'm talking about a guy who has been criticized almost his entire career. Andrei Markov left us because Marc Bergevin is a big idiot. Sources said that Markov wanted a 2-year deal to stay in Montreal, around $6 million over 2 years, something around that, something that he deserved, even though he's older, but he still knows how to bring it. He was let go by the Canadians. Canadians released "I Will Remember," like that kind of stuff, you know, like, oh, here's a tribute. Marc Bergevin, even though Markov had said he wanted to sign there, even if he had to take a 1-year deal, he wanted to win a cup in Montreal, and he knew that window was closing. He would do anything to keep this team together, because he's a Montreal Canadian for life. And he was let go by Marc Bergevin because Marc Bergevin doesn't know how to build a team, a championship team. He is now playing tremendously in the KHL for the Kazan Akbars, Admiral Akbars. It's a trap. It is a trap. Marc Bergevin is a trap. Speaking of building a championship team, Alexander Radulov signed with the Dallas Stars because Montreal, oh, we can't sign him to this because tax here would mean we'll be paying him tremendously more than we would be here, blah, 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 blah. Dallas signs him to a contract because Dallas went out and they signed everyone. Martin Hansel, friggin' everyone. They signed everyone. Radulov is going to be a monster. I can guarantee it. In Dallas, along Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin. Maybe they want to split that up a bit, you know, have Jerry Hudler on the first line, whatever they want to do. Dallas, I hope they do great this year. I hope Radulov does great this year. I am sad to see loyalty not be with him, even though I've seen him do things with Nashville, blah, 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 blah. You know, I didn't want to sign him to a long deal contract if it meant giving him $8 million over 5 years. That is not worth it. At his age, it's not worth it. I'm not trying to be ageist or anything like that. I don't think it's worth, with all our contracts on the team, every contract coming up in the next couple of years, next year specifically, a contract like that can weigh heavily on a team if he does not bring it again next year, and the year after that, and the year after that, and the year after that. Because a contract like that can weigh heavily on a team like the Montreal Canadiens. But I do wish him well in Dallas. Bergevin, I have some problems with you. If you follow me on Twitter, which I would be very happy if you did, because I tweet a lot. I would love for you to follow me on Twitter. Oh, yes. Cheap plug. Bergevin, you do not know what it takes to build a championship team. Bringing on guys like Alzner, Hemsky, Strait, and Schlemko is all great. They're quality NHL players. They're quality, and they know how to do their jobs. But when you lose guys like Markov, Radulov. That's not how you build a team. You pick guys up like Alzner, Hemsky, Strait, and Schlemko so you can have injury reserve. You can build a championship team. Losing them doesn't build an amazing team. We have a quality team. We just need to find a way to put it together. Because the future is kind of bright. We've been screwed by guys like Michel Therrien and Marc Bergevin screwing our rookie system. Picking up a bona fide guy like Jonathan Drouin is incredible. I was laughing. I was about to cry when I saw that trade. I thought it was just garbage, like rubbish, like, oh, they totally didn't trade for him. But they did. A guy who dekes his way out of every mess, it seems. He's always on the highlight reel. I mean, single-handedly sometimes. It's not because of players like Stamkos and Kucherov. He does things on his own sometimes, and I'm very happy to have him on our team. But see, picking up a guy like Drouin and letting go of guys like Radulov and Markov is not building. It's trading, in a sense. You know, we can get rid of Radulov because we got a bona fide 30-goal scorer on our hands, you know? He'll score us if he'll just get the same amount of points as Radulov. You want them both. You want that depth. You want that scoring, because Montreal has had problems scoring for years, it seems. It's for as long as I can remember. For as long as I've been a fan, they've had scoring problems. But I'm very happy to have a guy like Drouin, who I don't see him playing center. I see him being left wing or right wing, playing with guys like Pacioretty or Galchenyuk. We still have a center problem, but a centerman who has proved himself in the AHL and junior leagues, Charles Hudon, Quebec native. His name speaks French. Why don't you give this guy a shot? Not just because he's French, because he just knows how to play. He scores goals in juniors. Last year, with St. John's, he scored 27 goals in 56 games. We need a guy like that. We need a guy who can go out and score goals and can play center. He's young. He still has time to grow, but you have to give these guys a shot and not waste their talent in the minor leagues, wasting away. He's an amazing player. He's had moments of greatness. See, he played 3 games with the Montreal Canadiens in 2016-2017 season. Well, in 3 games he had 2 assists. A year earlier, in 2015-2016, he played 3 games again, and he had 2 assists. In my mind, a guy like that has been proving himself, slowly but surely. And he'll do it again if he doesn't crack the roster. He will score. He will get assists. I know that. He is still young. He is 23 years old. Drafted in 2012. You need to capitalize on using these guys. Capitalizing on these guys can secure a kind of bright future. Talking about being wasted, a guy like Michael McCarron, who I think can be an amazing power forward. He's humongous big. He is very large, humongous big. He's huge. He's 6'6", 22 years old. That's so huge. You don't see a lot of guys that big nowadays. He played 31 games with Montreal that last year. He's one of those guys that you just need to play all year for him to just be groomed. Like, play him with some gritty guys, like an Andrew Shaw. I think Andrew Shaw will have a bounce-back season. He's been playing AHL, NHL for a couple years. Michael McCarron, I think he can be an amazing player in the NHL. Amazing. Let me take that back. I think he can be a very great defensive forward. Powerhouse. If he just puts some muscle on and he just practices hitting guys in the chest, I think he can be a force to reckon with. His size alone and his weight alone, he's a menace on the ice. He just needs to crack into that next level. And I hope I can see that soon, because there's a lot of high praise for him. And speaking about the future, we did sign up Carey Price to a humongous big deal, 10 years. Goalies. Montreal has this weird thing with goalies. They have the best goalie in the NHL and in the world right now. And they have 1, 2, 3 great goalies who are going to be NHL ready soon. Guys like Lindgren, who played a few games with the Montreal Canadiens last year and won them. Lindgren is definitely an asset this year, and I hope they capitalize on that. I do like him. I do love him. I see greatness in him. I see him being a starter one day in the NHL. But if you need to trade him right. Trade him for a forward. Trade him in a bigger trade, because he is worth something. Teams should know it, because there's signs of greatness in him. Greatness comes naturally to this next guy, Michael McNiven. Michael McNiven played for the Owen Sound in the WHL? OHL. I'm so dumb. OHL. OHL. He's a goalie. He is 20 years old. He went undrafted. Undrafted. This guy who won the equivalent to the Vezina in the OHL. He had 41 wins in 54 games. 9 losses, 2 ties. How is that even possible? That is incredible. This guy is your next guy. When Carey Price gets older, he is your next guy. Don Cherry said it himself. There's signs of greatness in this guy. I think he's better than Carey Price at some point. I'm not mocking Don Cherry. I just see... I'm repeating myself a lot, but I see greatness in this guy too. And this next guy, who is another goalie, he played in the ECHL last year. He was drafted by Montreal, second round, 36 overall in 2013. He's 22. He's from Laval. His name is Jagr. He played 46 games with the Brampton Beasts. And, you know, he needs to work a bit harder to get there. You know, I can't say anything. I've never #played the game. But I definitely see signs of being great. You know, he just needs to crack into that next level. He's a guy who was touted as a great goalie when he was drafted. And I think he can be that too. I mean, his potential in NHL, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. In NHL 17, you know. You know, I always trade for him. He usually gets to a 91 overall, you know. But he's another guy who's great. Who can be great. And I've been kind of negative during this thing talking about Marc Bergevin and what he's done to hurt this team. But I'm trying to be positive. You know, going into this next season, I think we can do great things. We need to put it together. No, not me. I'm a fan. I don't do any work for them. I would love to, but I don't #play the game. I've never been in one of those dressing rooms. I don't know what it takes, but I'm smart. I know what they need to do. I know a lot about the game, and they have pieces. They have Carey Price, for the love of God. Any team that has Carey Price, if you put him on the Buffalo Sabres make the playoffs this year. 100% every year. Every year. Buffalo has pieces. Buffalo just needs to put it together. Montreal has pieces. They have Carey Price. They just need to put it together. They need to become champions. They need to have the championship mentality. They can't act like they'll never win it if they don't try to win it. They have to act like they are the guys to be the guys. And they have talent on their team. From guys like Max Pacioretty to Brendan Gallagher to Galchenyuk to Drouin to Carey Price to Shea Weber to Petrie to Shaw. I see great things if we can crack the next level. No more first round playoff losses to teams we should be able to beat. Our window is inching closer and closer to being shut each off-season. Because Marc Bergevin doesn't go out there and make the hard trades. And don't tell me the PK Subban Shea Weber trade was a championship trade, because it wasn't. Shea Weber is great and all. PK Subban is the franchise. You can't keep waiting for us to be good. You need to start now. Stop saying you're going to give away the future. I understand giving away Mikhail Sergachev because you're getting a guy like Jonathan Drouin. I get that trade. I get that trade 100%. But stop saying you're not going to trade players when you definitely are. I can see it in your eyes every time you say that. At least be smart about it. Don't trade a guy like Alex Galchenyuk for an aging, worse-off centerman. That's not smart. Because everybody on this team can crack into that next level. They all have talent. They need to work harder. They need to be better teammates to each other. Every team goes through droughts, but Montreal's droughts are horrendous. It seems no player can score for games on end. The only guy I ever see going game in, game out is Carey Price. He doesn't need to change a thing. Guys like Max Pacioretty need to crack the next level. You can have a great regular season, but when it comes to playoffs time, you need to be a better self. You need to challenge yourself. You need to go out there and score some goals. Which I know they can. They made the Eastern Conference Finals a long time ago, it seems. But it wasn't that long ago. Our core is relatively the same. I think we are better than we were then. We have guys. We have players. We have a goalie. If we can find that next level, I think we can do great things this season. But it's not just about the regular season. I don't care if we win the Presidents or not. I don't care about the Presidents. Make it to the playoffs. It's a long time from the playoffs. The season is still over a month away. I'm very excited for this next season. I'm always excited for more hockey. Aren't you? Hockey season is less than a month away. Preseason. Everything. It's all coming together. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited to see the Las Vegas Golden Knights in play. No, another dollar in the Las Vegas Golden Knights jar. It's the Vegas Golden Knights. For the love of God. I'm excited. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for hockey in general. I'm excited to see Jagr play for an NHL team this year. I'm excited. Be happy. School might be starting for a lot of people tomorrow, or whenever it starts for you. If you're not in school, you might be working, but think about the thing you love. And if you're listening to this podcast, I know one thing you might like, and that's hockey. There's not much more to be said. And that's my first podcast, everyone. Did I do awful? You can tell me at Twitter at RealBeautyMan, and you can go subscribe to me at YouTube, BeautyMan, because I'm awful with making names for my social media accounts. Are you excited? Because I'm friggin' excited for this next season. We might not have a rookie takeover, but I think it's going to be a special season. I hope. Did I just jinx that? Oh God. I'll see you next week. I'll do one of these every week. I don't care if anybody's listening. I'm doing this because I love hearing myself. Have a great rest of your day if you're listening. It's been the Beatty Man. Thank you for listening to 3 Thumbs Up Podcast. See you next week. Ciao.